CIN presents Perspective with Ronnie Thwaites.
This is Perspective. For the next 3 weeks, let us discuss the issues of the Shower Posse, the Dudus scandal, and the Manat Phelps Phillips inquiry, now ongoing in Jamaica. Do you remember when many Caribbean people in the tri-state region and in Canada felt personal fear, or at least acute embarrassment, because of the rampage of the Shower Posse in your midst? They were reported by the US and Canadian law enforcement officials as operating a drugs and weapons empire out of Tivoli, Jamaica, and were reputed to be one of the most dangerous gangs in the Americas. Of course, Shower was not the only criminal gang with reputed political connections, but they set the standard, didn't they? Transnational, rich, and apparently immune from prosecution. Remember how Jim Brown walked free from the Supreme Court in Kingston, received a gun salute, and by all credible reports had to be murdered in prison only when he was about to be extradited to the US, where no doubt he would have spilled the beans on some of his collaborators who still ruled Jamaica? Members of the Shower apparatus used to get, and still do get, plenty of government contracts, sometimes to keep them quiet, other times because they wielded huge influence over one of Jamaica's main political parties. They created the base, the manpower, the firepower, yes, the firepower, and the funds which the top and heiress in the society didn't contribute to make up the election money. The identification between the Shower Posse and the Shower Party was and is unmistakable. The posse has influence all over Jamaica. Check plenty of the construction and security contracts on government projects. And because of their kind of activity, a whole heap of blood has been shed, and our nation's reputation, and even that of some of our Caribbean friends who get lumped with us, has been tarnished and wasted. Between late 2007 and last year, we had the chance to correct this sordid past. Instead, we busted it. Over the next few weeks, I'm going to give you my perspective on how we missed the opportunity to take shame out of our eyes, who did it, and how the saga continues, and what lovers of the rock ought to do about it. And let it be clear, the Dudus issue is what Jamaicans are facing now, but the need to disconnect the reality or the perception of the politics from crime applies to every party. The PNP must not gloat over the Shower route. They must acknowledge any similar connections they may have had, regret them, and espouse a higher standard from here on. Enter Christopher Dudus Coke, the leader of the Shower Posse, and a man beloved in Tivoli Gardens, West Kingston, the constituency of Edward Siaga and now Bruce Golding. As the dads who sent children to school, disciplined anyone who molested women in the community, and who commanded the area in a way that neither the police or the Member of Parliament could. I do not know Mr. Coke, and I respect his right to a fair trial on all the charges for which he is being held. If he knows of others, high or low, here or abroad, PNP or JLP, who are or were engaged in drugs, gun trade, or political violence, I hope he will help himself and the rest of us and tell the authorities the whole truth. He will have his day in court, and I make no comment on his guilt or innocence. What I can say is that based on statements filed in court by the Attorney General of Jamaica herself, there appears to be ample evidence on which he could have been charged and extradited long ago. So what went wrong? I'll give you that story next time.
That's Perspective with Ronnie Thwaites.